here is the it's 10. Okay, everybody just download the file said just now. It is completed till here, right? I'll just repeat what we did in this case and then we try to complete the entire. So this was a model which we said we will build to value a company, value a business. Okay. So till now the different cases we did were primarily to value a project. Our goal was to find the IRR. How do we value a company? That's what we wanted to see. And also see that our process that we have followed for making the model more or less remains similar, okay, even in case of a valuation of a business. So this is one example which is given as an interview question in the private equity firm. So all that they do is they give you this question and they ask you to make a model, okay. So when they say that you know financial modeling, you just have to prove it, okay, by going through basic details of a business and making a model. So what is given here? We have to value this Indian manufacturer, and typically a private equity firm's approach towards the investment is you buy a large stake in a company, operate the business for some time, make some significant changes in the company, either in terms of reduction of the cost or helping them increase the revenue and therefore the profits and therefore the valuation, and then exit the company span of 5 to 10 years. So what is given here is the manufacturing company is there, which has 50 million of sales expected to grow by 25% with an EBITDA margin of 20%. Now for manufacturing companies, the EBITDA margin generally is on the lower side because cost of goods is generally on the higher side. Then this manufacturer is expected to secure a joint venture in the third year, and that should add in 20 million of additional revenue, but at a lower EBITDA. So if current business is at a 20% EBITDA, the joint venture which you will secure will have a EBITDA of around 12.5, where it will significantly boost up the sales as well as the EBITDA. Now this 20 million sale is expected to linearly increase to 50 million in year 6. हर साल मतलब straight line में sale आपका बढ़ते जाए. For all the incremental sales, you will have to do capital expenditure at 7.5% of sales. Doing more and more capex at 7.5% of sales, and then the capex required for expansion at time of JV is 4 million. One time you will have to do integration between the two businesses, your current manufacturing and the joint venture which you are securing. So you will incur a 4 million lump sum capex. Thereafter it will be 7.5% of sales. जो भी आपका सेल्स है उसका 7.5% आपका capital expenditure में जाता रहेगा. So you imagine that your old machinery is getting removed and new is getting added so as to sustain the growth and the sales. The model should use debt and retained earnings to grow the firm. Okay, so basically what we are saying here is capital expenditure that you are going to do. मतलब मशीनरी आप नया खरीदोगे, पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे? तो आप लोन ले लो और प्रॉफिट which is retained earning में से पैसा यूज कर दो. Current debt equity ratio of the firm is 2:1. सारा फंडिंग मतलब 2:1 कर रहा है कंपनी. With average cash conversion cycle of 90 days and payment terms with debtor and creditor is 60 days. Means आपका receivable days 60 है. So you sell something to your customer, 60 days बाद you will get paid. You buy something from your supplier, 60 days बाद you will pay them. नहीं, debtor creditor is 60 and cash conversion, since the time you pay to your supplier to the time you collect from your customer, is 90 days. New capital expenditure should be done at the same debt equity ratio, which is 2:1. Okay. And details of current balance sheet are given. Inventory is 6 million, receivable 8, payable 5, and retained profit as of now is 9. Fixed assets are 15 million, cash is 3. You want to value the firm 6 years hence at an exit P of 50. So basically प्राइवेट इक्विटी फर्म बेचेगा इसको, तो जो पोटेंशियल बायर है 6 साल बाद वो उसको 15 के मल्टीपल में खरीदेगा. वट एवर इज इट अर्निंग उसका 15 गुना. That is by E. And what is the value of the firm today at a 1 year forward P of 10? So today you are going to buy stake in the company. At what valuation are you going to buy? So 1 year forward जो भी profit है expected. Remember valuation will always be done on forward estimate, not on past. Past है हो चुका. So at a forward P of 10. Next year के earning पे 10 गुना पैसे आप दोगे, उस पे आप stake खरीदोगे और 6 साल बाद जो प्रॉफिट होगा उससे 15 टाइम्स पे मिलेगी. So basically sources of return for the PE firm will be two. One is incremental profit. फर्स्ट ईयर से 6th ईयर तक जो प्रॉफिट बढ़ेगा उससे आपका वैल्यू बढ़ेगा. सेकंड इज री रेटिंग ऑफ मल्टीपल. 10 के मल्टीपल पे आप खरीद रहे हैं और 15 के मल्टीपल पे आप एग्जिट कर रहे हैं, तो automatically even if the profits don't change, value will change by 50%. So you will have incremental gains due to differential multiple also increase in the profit. So that way probably you will be able to generate more than say 17-18% return on an annualized basis over the 6-year period. Okay, remember you are investing at T is equal to 0. So 0 से 6 year तक शायद आपको 17-18% के ऊपर रिटर्न मिलने का पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकता है. Okay, so this is your entire example. Now what has been done is template is not given. So first we thought of how we will approach. कैसे करेंगे, तो ये हमने सोचा. So we built a model scheme. So you will see that the scheme is more or less similar to what we've been discussing always. So idea was for us to make the income statement. What do you need to value? P by E आपको पता है अभी का और 6 साल बाद का. अब आपको P निकालना है तो आपको E एस्टिमेट करना पड़ेगा. So the idea is for us to estimate the earnings, which means income statement. So I want to build the income statement for the 6 years. But you cannot make the income statement without considering the inputs from the capex and operation cycle, working capital cycle. उसका details दिया है और schedule capital expenditure schedule. उससे पता चलेगा how much debt and equity we will be needing additionally and where is it going to come from. Even we will be also able to check if there is enough retained earnings that we are actually generating in the business. And then the balance sheet will also, we will also need the ratios to build the balance sheet. So capex schedule and ratios will help us make the balance sheet, and balance sheet will give us some input to the income. Now why do we need capex schedule is because it's going to increase debt, and debt will increase interest expense, and that will impact my earnings. So also if the business generates surplus cash, then it will generate interest income, and again that will impact my interest income statement, my earnings. And any increase in assets would also mean depreciation will increase, again that will impact my earnings. So therefore you will see that building the statement, whether it is analysis of a project or analysis of a company, so statement तो आपको वैसे भी बनाने पड़े. Depends upon what is the valuation technique you use. Okay, so if let's say you are using the DCF valuation technique, then your valuation will be driven by cash flow. If you are using the PE technique, then your valuation is dependent upon income. So this is our brief scheme, basis which we will be making the model. So we started making the model last time though, but how did we reach to that template? So this was the background. So then what want to find in the statement that we have already discussed in file number 5. So whenever you make a scheme, उसके बाद क्या है आपको सिर्फ file number 5 से line item draw कर लेना है. So we built this scheme in the first few sessions and then we said okay ये scheme में हम ये box दिखा रहे हैं income statement का what does that mean? So it means basically these line items. So then using the same we ended up building the template. तो टेम्पलेट में क्या कर दिया हमने फिर इनकम स्टेटमेंट डाल दिया वी पुट ऑल द लाइन आइटम 6 years इज द फोरकास्ट एंड करंट डेटा विल बी एज पर ईयर 0. ऑल डेटा गिवन इन द एग्जांपल इज 0 year which means past. 1 stands for first estimated year. पहला फॉरवर्ड ईयर को हम टाइम t इक्वल टू 1 देंगे. अभी का जो डेटा है वो 0. So all the balance sheet details that they have given in this example, inventory is 6 and receivable is 8 and payable is 5 and all of that is basically year 0 income. So that you have something to start with. So we made the income statement. So we just made the scheme exactly as per this: income, capex, balance sheet, cash flow. Sorry, balance sheet, ratio, cash flow, and value. Income statement, capex, half of it. Yeah. So that's why I'm repeating the entire thing because we did part half of it later. The remaining half was remaining. Then capex schedule, balance sheet, then ratios, and then cash. And then finally valuation. So valuation I put on the right hand side. We want to find the value current and 6 years hence, and then we would like to see what is the annualized return, and if that is beating 18 odd % is what private equity generally will consider as a cost of capital, and it is higher than Nifty return. That is because of the size risk. Okay, private companies are not marketable as is the case with Nifty. That's why the size risk is what you try to build in the expected return. Okay. So then we started with the income statement. It was given 50 million was the current sale and it was growing by 25%. Third year we were going to do a joint venture which was going to add a sale of 20, which was linearly scaling up to 50. So 20, 30, 40, 50. So straight line में आपका 10 million से सेल जो है वो बढ़ रहा है. Basic business has a EBITDA of 20% and joint venture has a EBITDA of 12.5%. So that gave us the total EBITDA for all the years at around 44. Last year, 44. Then for depreciation, we said we need the balance sheet. So once we do the balance sheet, we'll do the depreciation. The same for debt, we'll do the for interest, we'll need the debt again. We'll do it for the. So remaining items are just filled as it. Profit, and if there is a profit, then there is a tax, and then the PAT. So we did this first. Then we went on to make the capital expenditure. 7.5% of sales. तो जो भी आपका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का सेल है उसका 7.5% आपका कैपेक्स. जॉइंट वेंचर के लिए 4 million वन टाइम कैप. उसके आगे जो भी जॉइंट वेंचर का सेल है उसका 7.5 million आपका कैप. That gives total. Then it was said that capex will be funded using current debt equity ratio of 2:1. That means percentage proportion of funding coming from debt is 2/3. Out of 3 rupees required, 2 coming from debt and 1 coming from equity. So 67% of the funding required came from debt. इसकी वजह से आपका इतना हर साल आप डेट लेते गए. Similarly, you will also need to raise equity क्योंकि इक्विटी का पोर्शन है. But you are already making profit. What do you do with the profit? You either give it in dividend or you retain it back. What do you do with the retained profit? You reinvest. या तो सरप्लस कैश पड़ा रहेगा तो आप एफडी कर दोगे, मतलब फाइनेंशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट में डाल दोगे, या तो आपका बिजनेस का एक्सपेंशन फंड कर दो, which is like buying new machinery. So we are buying new machinery with retained earnings. So this is just to show द यूज ऑफ रिटेंडर, मतलब ये लाइन का कुछ स्टेटमेंट में इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं, बिकॉज बैलेंस शीट एंड कैश फ्लो का लिंकिंग इस तरह होगा कि फॉर एग्जांपल फर्स्ट ईयर में ये 2 मिलियन जो है वो ऑटोमेटिकली कट हो जाएगा, ओके, कैश में, हाँ कैश में से कट हो जाएगा, बट हम उसको अलग से दिखाएंगे, ओके, क्योंकि shown here and it generally causes a lot of confusion, that's why, okay, so with this we have come to know कि हमारी मशीनरी में कितना एडिशन होगा, डेट में कितना एडिशन होगा. When I'm saying machinery, that means fixed asset, which means obviously it's going to give me some input to the balance. So then we come to the balance sheet. Some part of the balance sheet is also done. Remaining is what we are now going to come. So balance sheet में पहले है cash. Where will I get the cash to the balance sheet from? Balance sheet में cash कहाँ से आएगा? उसमें से कौन सा है? राव. फिर टैली कैसे होगी? तो एंडिंग कैश. So CFO plus CFI plus CFF plus opening cash is equal to ending cash. And this ending cash is like as on last day. आखिरी दिन पे आपके पास इतना कैश है, वही बैलेंस शीट भी पूछ रहा है आज कितना कैश है. So that ending cash will go back into the balance. So we cannot make the balance sheet cash till the cash flow is done. तो ये आएगा cash flow. Inventory, receivable and payable के लिए we will have to do ratio analysis. तो वो अभी हमारा करना बाकी. It is given that आपके पास 15 मिलियन का फिक्स असेट है और आप फर्स्ट ईयर में 5 मिलियन का नया फिक्स असेट ऐड करने वाले हो कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर करके. Now remember, all the capex that you are going to do will get added to gross asset. Correct. The net will be different because वो depreciate होगा. तो आपका gross assets are increasing by 5. जो भी capex कर रहे हैं आप उससे आपके gross assets बढ़ते जा रहे हैं. So likewise, last year's gross fixed asset comes to 81. Okay. तो ये एंट्री हमने कर दी है लास्ट टाइम. Now once you know the gross assets, then you can find depreciation. You assume some rate of depreciation. Now what has happened is ये क्वेश्चन में इन लोगों ने कुछ डेटा दिया नहीं है. जैसे depreciation का रेट क्या होगा? So you take some rate 10% for plant and machinery. Okay, so we have taken 10% as an assumed rate for plant and machinery, and we have calculated the depreciation. Now, how did we calculate depreciation? We said 10% of fixed asset. Gross की net depreciation gross asset पे निकलता है कि net asset? Gross asset, because gross asset is reported at historical cost. Depreciation is a historical cost divided by life into rate. तो 20 मिलियन का निकाले कि 15 मिलियन, मतलब इस साल के एंडिंग का कि इस साल के स्टार्टिंग. तो ये डिपेंड करता है कि आपका कैपेक्स कब हो रहा है. फॉर एग्जांपल आपने साल स्टार्ट किया 15 मिलियन के एसेट से, तो 15 मिलियन तो डेप्रिशिएट होगा ही. क्वेश्चन ये है कि ये 5 मिलियन का क्या? व्हेन इज दिस 5 मिलियन का एसेट गेटिंग एडेड? इज इट एडिंग एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ द ईयर? देन यू डेप्रिशिएट एंटायर 20 मिलियन. Is it happening at the between the year? Then you depreciate it at his 15 by full rate and the 5 by half the rate. Because depreciation rate is also annual, just like any other rate. And if it is happening at the end, then ideally you should opening का ही करना पड़ेगा. But generally क्या है कि end या start is a very illogical asset. पहले दिन पे 5 मिलियन का asset आपने खरीद लिया. So rather than that, you ended up buying it during the year. Either defensive asset. So you end up taking average of opening and closing. Average is like इसका full depreciation हुआ और इसका half depreciation rate. That is 15 plus 5 by 2 into the full rate. That's like 17 and a half. That's why we have taken average. So depreciation आपको मिल गया. That way EBIT level तक model complete है. Remember you wanted earning. अब इसमें बचे हैं दो, interest expense और interest income. Once you get those, your valuation is done. Interest expense आएगा डेट से. Already it was given that current debt equity ratio is 2. अगर equity 9 है आपकी, retained earning is also another way of calling it. Then आपका debt currently 18 होगा. प्लस 5 मिलियन का कैपेक्स किया, उसमें से 3 मिलियन डेट से आया, तो आपका डेट इंक्रीज हो गया। करेक्ट, 18 plus 3. Remember, this is the interview question of a private equity company. So if you are aiming for a private equity company job profile or something, they expect you to build everything on your own without the template. तो 18 पे 3 ऐड हो गया, आपका डेट बढ़ गया 21 all the way up to 62. Again, interest on debt is not given, so we have taken the rate as 10%. We are again assuming that debt will be repaid in between the year. So sorry, raised in between the year. अगर कैपेक्स इन बिटवीन ईयर हो रहा है तो डेट भी इन बिटवीन, इसलिए ओपनिंग और क्लोजिंग बैलेंस ऑफ डेट का एवरेज लेके उस पर 10% इंटरेस्ट है. So the model is complete till here. Now what we want the last thing which is interest income. और इंटरेस्ट इनकम के लिए आपको क्या चाहिए? आपको चाहिए कैश, which is like surplus cash which will be reinvested. और कैश के लिए आपको चाहिए कैश फ्लो. But before you make the cash flow statement, you will have to complete the balance sheet because cash flow is double entry. All entries of the cash flow either come from the income statement or they come from the balance. तो अब लास्ट पार्ट करते हैं, पहले नहीं सेकंड लास्ट पार्ट करते हैं, पहले बैलेंस शीट कंप्लीट. व्हाट इज लेफ्ट? इन्वेंट्री, रिसीवेबल, पेएबल एंड कैश. जिसमें से कैश तो कैश फ्लो से आना है, तो कैश फ्लो जब करेंगे तो आएगा. इन्वेंट्री, रिसीवेबल और पेएबल के लिए क्या दिया है? यू हैव बीन गिवन cash conversion cycle of 90 days and receivable and payable cycle of 60 days. Nothing is being mentioned as to how the business is going to operate in the future. ये तो अभी का है. तो फ्यूचर का एजम्पशन क्या होगा? अज्यूम सेम, क्योंकि धंधा थोड़ी चेंज होगा. अगले साल डेटर और क्रेडिटर का पीरियड थोड़ा चेंज होने वाला. दैट इज लाइक ए कंपनीज क्रेडिटर्स एंड डेटर्स पॉलिसी. तो DSO called as days sales outstanding, also called as debtor days or receivable days. All names, but they mean the same. Is given 60. Correct. Now we start. Students online, are you following? I have just revised the entire thing that we did last class. Are we on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now we will start beyond. So payment terms with debtor and creditor is 60 days. That means debtor days and creditor days are 60. And the same policy we are going to assume in the future. So you can fix this. Okay. Receivable days, also called as days sales outstanding or average collection period. You must have studied it with one of the names. Average collection period, days sales outstanding, receivable days और debtor days. ये अलग अलग नाम है, अलग अलग बुक्स में यूज किए हुए, बट दे ऑल मीन द सेम. बेसिकली व्हाट इट मीन्स इज, आज आपने सामान कस्टमर को बेच दिया, तो 60 डेज बाद कस्टमर आपको पैसा देगा. ओके, इज गिवन. सिमिलरली आप अपने सप्लायर को 60 डेज बाद पैसा दें. आज उसने आपको सामान दिया तो आप 60 डेज बाद उसको पैसा दें. दैट इज पेएबल डेज. So debtor days and receivable creditor days will help you understand average collection, account receivable and payable. What about inventory? इन्वेंट्री के लिए आपको पता होना पड़ेगा डेज ऑफ इन्वेंट्री होल्डिंग. उसके लिए उन्होंने कैश कन्वर्जन साइकिल की डिटेल लिखे है 90 डेज. तो हाउ मेनी डेज आर देयर फॉर विच यू आर होल्डिंग इन्वेंट्री इन योर is what you have to first find, and then we will reverse calculate the receivable, payable and inventory from the days. I'll give you the formula. So COH now. How many days? Cash conversion cycle is 90. So what is the relation between cash conversion cycle, receivable day, payable day and inventory? So I will plot it here. Okay. So here's how the working capital schedule looks like. You buy raw material and make payment after payable days. Okay, so I will say payable days. Okay. Then the raw material comes in and you have first raw material inventory, then work in progress, process inventory, and then finished good inventory, which is days of inventory holding. Inventory holding includes everything: raw material, work in process, and finished. So if raw material came in here, remained in your book still here, and then got sold. Once it got sold, customer ended up paying in receivable days or debtor days. So when did your money get blocked? You had to pay here and you received money back here. That is cash conversion cycle. यहाँ आपका पैसा फंस गया और यहाँ आपका पैसा वापस आ गया. Also called as net operating cycle. For the operating cycle period, your actual cash is blocked, and that's what we call as working capital. धंधा चलाने के लिए जो पैसे चाहिए, is working capital. So what is this cash conversion cycle? COH plus receivable days minus payable days. Actually gross operating cycle इतना है. अगर आप बिजनेस का देखो तो यहाँ रॉ मटेरियल खरीद रहे हो और यहाँ फिनिश गुड बेच के पैसे आ रहे हैं. आपकी पूरी ऑपरेटिंग साइकिल विच इज COH प्लस रिसीवेबल डेज. लेकिन पैसा नहीं फंस रहा है पूरे पीरियड के लिए क्योंकि कस्टम आपका सप्लायर आपको क्रेडिट पीरियड दे रहा है. माइनस पेएबल डेज इज इक्वल टू कैश कन्वर्जन साइकिल. So this is 60 for us, this is 60 for us, and this is 90 for us. So DOH will be how much? ये unknown है. Correct. It is 90. So DOH is 90. So we will put this 90 as it is, and then it's not going to change again. हाँ, तीन में डाल. So 90 we will put for DOH also, and then that is also going to remain the same. Now what is the formula? So if you know the receivable days, payable days, and debtor days, how can you find inventory receivable and payable from it? So obviously you will need the ratio analysis formula. Okay. So I will put them here. Okay, DOH, DSO, and payable days. What is formula for DOH? Days of inventory holding. Average inventory divided by daily cost. बेसिकली साल का अगर कॉस्ट आपका 3650 है तो डेली कॉस्ट हो गया 10 रुपीज का. हर दिन 10 रुपये का सामान बन रहा है. और अगर आपकी इन्वेंट्री रेट से 100 रुपीज की है तो 100 अपॉन 10 मतलब सामान आपके बुक में 10 दिन के लिए पड़ा रहता है. दैट इज व्हाट द फॉर्मूला इज ट्राइंग टू से. Average receivables upon sales by 365. Remember, receivable is to be recorded on sales, and payable and inventory is to be recorded on cost. So these are the formulae for UOH, ESO, and payable. So you can see all of them in any book, but as you practice more and more, you will end up remembering all the data analysis parts. Okay. So how much is inventory holding period for year one? हम इन्वेंट्री में सामान कितने देर के लिए होल्ड कर रहे हैं फर्स्ट ईयर में? Yeah. How many days are we holding inventory in year one? 90 days. So 90 days हम सामान होल्ड करेंगे. So DOH we know. We also know year one का COG, which is around 50 million. साल का COG हमारा 50 मिलियन का है. और ओपनिंग इन्वेंट्री हमारे पास 6 मिलियन की थी. तो हमारी क्लोजिंग इन्वेंट्री कितनी होगी? इज द क्वेश्चन. बिकॉज फर्स्ट ईयर का एंड का इन्वेंट्री बैलेंस शीट में चाहिए. So all this ratio analysis was ultimately required to find the line item value. So inventory year one के end में कितनी होगी? Is what you have to now reverse calculate from the formula that I have given for COH. So required details are already there to compute inventory. फॉर्मूला को अब उल्टा करना पड़ेगा, रिवर्स कर. एग्जैक्टली करेक्ट. रिवर्स कैलकुलेशन ऑफ द वैल्यू. डेली कॉग. कॉग हाँ कॉग निकाला है. Yeah. So you will probably have to write it down. Exactly. पेज पे करना आसान है. Right. You can put inventory as I0 and I1. With I0 we know, I1 is what we want to find. Correct. Good. So I will also note down the formula here. Correct. Good. So here's the formula in mathematical terms, out of which I1 is what we want to find. Okay, so you can just rearrange the terms. So I1 you will keep on one side, and this bracket will go there and get multiplied. So you will have DOH into COG by 5 into 2. The 2 will also go and get multiplied there, minus I0. Correct. And then put these for today here, and we should get entry for the year 1 as 90, 18.6. Correct. Find receivable and payable similar. The only difference in receivable formula is instead of taking COG, you have to take total sales. How much you are getting? 12.5. Correct. Okay. Match your numbers for all and let me know if you need any call. That's the receivables formula. 12.5 answer. If COGS के जगह sales. 12.5 for receivable, 40.6, and payable is 12.4. Then 31.3. Correct. So with that, the balance sheet line items are done, and we are left with only cash. It will come from cash flow, and once you have the cash, you will get the interest income, and then you will have the earnings to the value. So let's match the last year's error, 39.02. Yeah, the error match, error balance matching, 39.02 for last year. Check balance. You can open two decimals. Trade wala 39.02. Yes. Which one? This one? Okay. It is payable days plus cash conversion cycle is equal to DOH plus receivable days. एक साइड पे ये है और एक साइड पे ये. हाँ ये फाइल में वैसे भी देखना था इवन इफ यू हाँ right. या तो पेन पेपर पे करो पेन पे करने में टाइम जाता है हाँ you need that pen tablet to make it easy using this mouse it becomes very difficult to write anything there is that pen tablet I have recently bought it I should have bought it in 2020 I was using this mouse only ये टाइम जाता है जैसे और अच्छा हैंडराइटिंग भी नहीं आता है नहीं नहीं वो स्क्रीन एज इन कैन यू सी व्हाट यू आर राइटिंग ऑन द टैब नो नो नॉट वेरी गुड इट्स नॉट लाइक पेपर थोड़ा सा आर्बिट्ररी चलता है हाँ what happens is that writing area and your monitor somehow they are connected so you have to watch that mouse pointer here first and then see whether you are typing otherwise it will go on that file button and then you start to write it's a little you'll some getting used to but writing experience is more like a paper तो वो अच्छा पार्ट है ये माउस के साथ बहुत ही बेकार काम then you need to use a software called Epic Pen that is free software then you can write on Excel or Word or just on the desktop so it's like another screen in front of your desktop थोड़ा वो practice करके आ सकता है okay is error balance unit matching 39.02 ये चेक कर लेते हैं तो फिर कैश फ्लो करते वक्त yes done. So now we can proceed to cash yeah okay I 60 correct 39%. Zero. Okay, fair. So we'll do the cash flow and the valuation. Okay, in the next one, let's take a 5-10 minute break and let's. So once we are done with this, then we are done with the entire section. So let's take a break here. Then we'll start another in 5-10 minutes. And I'll just stop sharing my screen at this time. Get a couple of files. Students online, have you got the error balance 39.02?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's take a break and then we will connect back. Hello. Yeah, students online, is it audible? Should we continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's build the last part, which is now the cash. You are left with only one thing in the balance sheet, which is cash, and that obviously we will be able to complete when we do the cash flow. So the starting point I will give end of period cash for year 0 is 3 million. So you can put that EOP cash for 0 year is 3 million. Now rules for cash flow, whatever comes from income statement comes as a direct entry. Whatever comes from balance sheet comes as a difference entry. If it is asset, rule is old minus new. If it is liability, rule is new minus old. So based on the basic directions, can you find and tell me cash flow from operations for year 1? सिर्फ फर्स्ट ईयर का CFO तक ही करो. Starting point you take 3 million is the opening cash which is given. Cash at the end of current period is 3 million. How much is the CFO for year 1? 5 entries you have to make. Add depreciation, change in inventory, receivable and payable. Also you have to keep note of the sign that you are going to put for each of the balance sheet items. What is the year 1 cash flow from operations? And add all. साइन अपने आप आ जाएगा बाकी सब. सब ऐड हो गए. नहीं वो साइन उसमें आ जाएगा. चेंज इन अकाउंट रिसीवेबल निकलते हैं तब ओल्ड माइनस न्यू करें और पेएबल के टाइम न्यू माइनस हो. तो हाँ एक एसेट एक लाइबिलिटी. और कैश फ्लो का कन्वेंशन है आउटफ्लो शुड बी शोन नेगेटिव एंड इनफ्लो पॉजिटिव. So sign should be carried by line item itself. And same for inventory. And inventory also an asset. So the rules for assets will apply, which is old minus new. तो asset बढ़ने पे पैसा जाएगा. That is what the model has to build. CFO. Okay, that depreciation all gets linked directly. Whatever comes from income statement will come in as a direct entry. Then inventory is an asset. So last year's inventory minus current year's inventory. Same for receivable, and payable will be current minus correct. 3 and 32 plus. Then capex is a outflow. We have already estimated capex. Capex can also be said as change in fixed asset gross. Okay, easier wording is or change in PPE gross. तो या तो आप यहाँ से ले सकते हैं PPE gross, again asset है तो old minus new, or you can directly take it from here. Capex which we have found out in row 31. Only thing you have to remember is sign should be negative. That's it. So we'll take it from there, or easier out would be just pass on the double entry from gross asset, old minus new. In which case you don't have to think about the sign. अगर आप रूल फॉलो करते हो तो साइन का आपको फिर सोचना नहीं पड़ेगा. फिक्स असेट है तो असेट अगेन ओल्ड माइनस न्यू. सिर्फ कौन सा लेना है, ग्रॉस की नेट. तो ऑब्वियसली यू विल टेक ग्रॉस असेट बिकॉज नेट में डेप्रिसिएशन है जो ऑलरेडी ऊपर आपने कंसिडर कर लिया है. यू डोंट वांट टू डबल काउंट इट. यस, फ्रॉम बैलेंस 242 यू आर टेकिंग नेट. यू टेक ग्रॉस. करेक्ट. नेट लेने का प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि डेप्रिसिएशन डबल काउंट होता है. फिर ऊपर भी काउंटेड है ऑलरेडी सीएफओ में. Okay, and CFI is just one line, so you don't have to add, just link it from there. And change in debt, debt is a liability, so the rule is new minus old. So net change in cash, operation plus investing plus financing. Opening is previous closing and closing is opening plus net change. Okay, last cash comes out to 39.02, which was the error balance. तो बैलेंस शीट का एरर अब ईओपी कैश दोनों मैच है. लास्ट बीओपी फर्स्ट इज 3 million गिवन. यस, या तो आप बैलेंस शीट की कैश से ले सकते हैं. एंड करंट बीओपी इज लास्ट ईओपी and current EOP is BOP plus net gain. Last is 39.0. Okay. Is the cash matching? Last cash students online. Is the cash balance for year 6 matching to 39.02?
Yes, sir.
Correct. So we'll take this cash back into the balance sheet and the balance sheet will balance. So checksum for last year is nil. Everyone check. ये मैच हो गया आपका. Balance sheet check should become zero. After you put cash in the balance sheet from EOP balance of cash flow. Yeah, here it is. This line item. Let's match from CFO. Last CFO 32 है. यही आ लगा. Correct. तो ये 13 आ गया पहला. सॉरी पहला CFO माइनस डेप्रिसिएशन लास्ट वाला 7 है और पैट 22 साइन माइनस है पहला प्लस है. नहीं तो ये यहाँ पे इन्वेंट्री 45 दिखा रही है क्या? मैं हाँ लास्ट नंबर 39 आ गया क्या? करेक्ट. Okay, next. Now we will find the interest income. Last line, 5% of opening cash we will take. Rather than taking closing, we will consider that opening cash is what we will use to generate interest income, and last PAT we will match with two decimals, 22.65. Interest income finally निकाल देते हैं so that we can do the valuation. What do you do with the surplus cash? You put it in an FD and generate interest income on it. That line item was remaining. Income statement में वही item बचा था. POP cash का ले लेंगे 5%. Let's say 5% is the interest income rate. तो आखिरी पैट चेक करो आप 2 decimal के साथ. After you have added interest income, 22.65 आना है. Second decimal तक मैच होना चाहिए. Done. What is the value and therefore what is the CAGR? That's what we want to find. Okay. So ये सब हो गया हमारा स्कीम में. इनकम, बैलेंस शीट, कैश फ्लो, कैपेक्स, शेड्यूल, रिस्क. What is left? वैल्यू. Yeah. तो 39 जो लास्ट कैश थी वो चेंज हो गई हो गया. इट हैज बिकम 41. हाँ, वो अपने आप ही हो जाएगा. ऑलरेडी लिंक्ड है ना सारा, तो वो ऑलरेडी रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाएगा. तो नाउ वी वांट टू फाइंड एक वैल्यू कितनी है. टुडे we are going to acquire stake in the company at a 1 year forward PE of 10. तो आप यहाँ पे PE डाल दो 10. X अपने आप ही ले लेगा क्योंकि फॉर्मेट वैसा है, which is 10x, 10 गुना. और 6 साल का जो पैट है, 6 years का जो पैट है, उस पे 15 का PE मिलेगा. So what is value today? What is value 6 years hence? And in 6 years, what will be my CAGR? What is value today? First you find what is value today. 10 and 15 are put up from the data. Data में दिया है firm's value in year 6 at a PE of 15 and firm's value today at a 1 year forward PE of 10. 1 year forward PE means रेशियो 10 टाइम्स है, लेकिन कौन से अर्निंग का, तो एक साल हेंस अर्निंग का. हाँ, तो ये फॉर्मूला P upon E stands for price per share upon earning per share. Correct? So that's like, what is price per share? Total value of the company divided by number of shares. What is earning per share? Profit divided by number of shares. इसमें number of share हो गए कट. तो P by E का फॉर्मूला देयरफॉर हो गया वैल्यू अपॉन पैट. अब आपको फर्स्ट ईयर का पैट पता है, तो फर्स्ट ईयर की वैल्यू आप मतलब करंट वैल्यू आप निकाल सकते हैं. करेक्ट. और 6 ईयर का पैट पता है, तो 6 ईयर की वैल्यू क्या होगी. और आज आप वो 62 पे खरीदेंगे, 6 ईयर सेंस वट एवर इज द वैल्यू उस पर बेचेंगे, तो आपका एनुअलाइज रिटर्न कितना है. करेक्ट. So in 6 years, what is your compounded annual growth? So I will also do it on screen. PAT, we will take it from the income statement. First year ka PAT and then 6 year ka PAT. Direct link there. Now, P by E is equal to value upon PAT. Therefore, value is equal to P by E into PAT. So 63 and 339.70. Are they matching? या तो 63 का भी डेसिमल ओपन कर देता हूँ. 62.72 and 339.7. So in turn, what it means is today you will buy stake in the organization at a valuation of 62 million. And 6 year में आप एग्जिट कब करेंगे? 339 में. नहीं तो ये 2 डेसिमल से ये नंबर मैच हो रहा है 22.2। तो ये 1 आया लास्ट में। हाँ रेट फिक्स करना रहेगा। तो CAGR कितना है 6 years। टुडे यू आर बाइंग एट वैल्यूएशन ऑफ 62, आफ्टर 6 years selling at valuation of 339, annualized return is correct। You can either use RRI or you can use the rate formula or you can use the basic principle। 6 ईयर 1 नहीं है, ईयर 1 क्या है, फॉरवर्ड ईयर है। व्हाट इज दैट, ये क्या बोल रहा है कि वैल्यू टुडे बेस्ड ऑन 1 year फॉरवर्ड टी, मतलब आज हम वैल्यूएशन कैसे करेंगे तो अगले साल के पैच पे और उसके 10 गुना, पर वैल्यूएशन आज ही हो रही है। करेक्ट 33%, and that is well above your uh, 17-18% which you will generally need। I will change the formula here, sorry color। Here is the formula RRI, rate of return on investment, and the formula for number of periods 6, PV 62 and FV 339। इसमें PV FV को माइनस प्लस नहीं डालना पड़ता। 6 years। हाँ यू कैन टेक पैट ऑल्सो एक्चुअली, नहीं नहीं सॉरी, पी रेशियो भी तो चेंज हो रहा है, खाली पैट से भी कर सकते थे बट फिर आप वो मल्टीपल का इंक्रीमेंट का परसेंट कंसिडर नहीं कर रहे थे। Done। 33% is basically what we wanted to look at, and that's the decision parameter rate, or you can do end value upon beginning value raised to 1/6 minus 1 to get the percentage। ये नया फॉर्मूला है, ये RRI was not there in 2000। हाँ नहीं, this formula also got introduced I think in 2013 or 16 exactly, उसके पहले ये फॉर्मूला ही नहीं है। तो यू कैन यूज रेट फंक्शन, रेट फंक्शन उसमें सिर्फ FPPV में PV को माइनस डालना पड़ेगा। सेम टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी में देखा था ना। हाँ नंबर ऑफ ईयर 6, सिर्फ PV को आपको माइनस डालना पड़ेगा, दैट्स ऑल। PMT इज रिकरिंग कैश फ्लो, तो ये रिकरिंग कैश फ्लो है ही नहीं, एक बार स्टार्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट है बाद में एग्जिट है। इसमें भी PVFC सेम ही है, सिर्फ PV को आपको माइनस डालना पड़ेगा। PMT is 0 minus of 62 and future value is 339, that's all। Okay, so 33% is well above the general target that private equity firms will look at। 17-18% is what they see, 25% is what they will generally want to be at least estimated each investment। 33% is way higher than that based on the data, that's it। So with that, oh, I'll give a small sort of question bank which will give you idea of how the third periodical and the final exam paper should be, okay, at least for my part, that they have not told You can say at least 50-50. उतना hopefully होगा. Just a minute. I'll send the files to all of you and then we will discuss the question bank so that we don't have any surprises. So here is the final model and the question bank. Okay, so I've shared the files. Let me quickly discuss the question bank. So exam may expect not a single model in the exam. Okay, not like the assignment. इसमें सब कुछ आपको एक केस में ही करना था. Cases can be like this. Okay, you can have say a franchisee model being asked, and then I'll give you the template below, and whatever questions you have to put your answers here. So basically, you can link it from there. तो कुछ जास्ती आपको वो नहीं करना पड़ेगा. And the questions will be separate. Like this is a question on franchise model. Then that you can have a question on calculation of cash flow and NPV, or you can have on tax, or it can be just estimating the cash flow statement based on income and balance sheet basis, or it can be calculating some ratio. Okay. Theory questions I have noted down. I'm not very sure whether we will put theory questions. The where you will write वो complicated हो जाएगा. Sorry. That was actually open question to all. Should we want theory questions or we'll keep only numerical? So if we not keep theory at all, उतना टाइम होगा क्या लिखने का? टाइपिंग सबके लिए ऑब्वियसली नॉट. थियरी क्वेश्चंस तो मैंने सिर्फ इसलिए डाला है ताकि यू हाँ so that you all can write something and we can give marks. So otherwise हमने पूरा टाइम में theory कुछ की ही नहीं है. So you will see what theory questions are. Draw interlinking diagram between the three statements. Which is that what I had or model scheme बना के दिखाओ. मतलब जबरदस्ती के theory questions है. It only kept so if at all students have not followed anything, तो फिर numerical में problem हो जाएगी. If you don't write anything in numerical, how is it marked? So what is the requirement? Can we give couple of numericals like these? But this is not an exhaustive set. Remember that. This is a representative. I mentioned that in the mail also. Well, it can be a question on only forecasting income statement or balance sheet or cash flow, or it can be tax, or it can be finding NPV, IRR. नहीं नहीं वो उतना उसमें 4 क्वेश्चन हो जाएंगे. इनकम का एक, बैलेंस शीट का एक, कैश फ्लो का एक, वैल्यूएशन का. अच्छा ऑन योर व्हाट्सएप. हाँ गो अहेड. नेक्स्ट 20 जून ना syllabus. My idea was to give couple of questions like these also, which would mean entire coverage of our part, so that you will get a overall flavor of how the final exam is. That has not been told to me. I think it will be only mine. Second and third tutorial. Second tutorial, I think you all have submitted. I have not given the marks. But if you have got 20.7 as IRR, then it is full. अगर सबका सबमिशन एक होगा तो अकाउंट रिसीवेबल का कुछ था ना. But somebody had mailed me, I had responded also. हाँ correct yes. तो वो IRR सही था 20.6. नहीं अकाउंट रिसीवेबल शुड नॉट बी एडेड. ऐसा रिसीवेबल अगर ऐड होते रहेगा 10 साल का तो फिर तो बैड डेट ही हो जाएगा ना. नहीं वो रिसीवेबल का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है कि प्रिजम्पशन इज जनरली 1 or 2 months लास्ट बिलिंग. फरवरी मार्च का आपका बिलिंग जो है वो अप्रैल या मई में पे ऑफ होगा, इसलिए वो आपका स्पिल ओवर हो जाता है. लेकिन दैट डजंट मीन कि ये अप्रैल मार्च का भी अगले अप्रैल मार्च में भी कैरी फॉरवर्ड हो जाएगा. वो अगले पीरियड का है. रिसीवेबल हाँ शुड बी पेड फुल्ली. नहीं तो वो 20 वाला बराबर है. आई रिस्पॉन्डेड टू योर मेल, so I'm hoping that everybody has given that as a submission. Like the question bank which is shared just now, which you can also consider as a representative question bank for the final. फाइनल में अगर पीरियडिकल में 2 है तो फाइनल में 3 क्वेश्चन. यस yes. So you can say 50% mark for both parts. And our paper will be like this. You will get Excel file with question on top. Or no, I think question will be given in Word document, and this template will be shared with all of you. With the green ones where you can find your answer in the yellow and link your answers in the green part. And theory you can ignore that. No need, right? एक तो आधा पेपर है उसमें क्या ही theory.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, will you be setting the tutorial 3 paper?
Yes. Like the question bank which I am showing on the screen or which is shared with you.
Sir, I have a doubt, a conceptual doubt. Sir, in the assignment, okay, first I will say in the sugar factory case, we were told about the debt. The loan repayment had to be done on annual basis at the end of the period.
Yes.
And we have to make 6 equal repayment, right? And
Sorry.
we have to make 6 equal repayments.
Yes, 6 equal amount. Correct, as repayment. So it was 1/6.
Yeah, exactly. So in another case, we have used PMT function.
That is equal installment.
Okay, so it is about repayment and installment. The difference is that only.
Yes. Equal repayment means amount of money repaid every year is same, and equal installment means amount paid to the bank is same, which means interest plus principal is a fixed amount.
Okay, sir, got it now. Thank you.
Correct. So we have used different cases. First case we used lump sum repayment. Then we used in the travel agency model we used the equal installment, and in sugar factory and that manufacturing model we used equal repayment. Equal repayment means सिर्फ repayment equal है, interest कुछ और होगा.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Correct. Yeah. So I think in the assignment also you had equal repayment
Sir,
only.
installment. So we have used PMT.
Oh, sorry, installment. Correct. We have to use it. Yes. But the schedule was there, so probably this would have helped you understand. EAI दिया था. Equal installment. Correct. Any other doubt? Everybody, let me know, or else we will stop here. Okay, done. Thank you all. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.